What is going on, guys? I'm back for another Cobra Friday, and today we're watching Cobra Kai Season 3, Episode 5. I believe this episode is called Miyagi-Do, and I'm really excited to get into this episode because last time was focusing on the conflict between Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do, and I've been kind of wanting them to go a little more into the Miyagi-Do side of things, so I'm looking forward to that if that's what we're going to be focusing on. And obviously the last episode ended on a big cliffhanger with Sozen, I think his name is, from Karate Kid 2 showing up at the end. I actually went back and rewatched the second Karate Kid movie after I saw that because it had been a while since I've seen it, and it actually held up really well for me. I mean, it did have some problems and the third act did get a little over the top, but for the most part I enjoyed it, and I'm very interested to see what they're going to be doing with this character now that he's back. Because while Johnny and Daniel were just high school karate rivals, these two actually fought in a life or death battle. So yeah, I'm very excited to get into this as always, so let's not waste any more time. Let's just get right into it, folks. It's karate time. Ooh. Flashbacks, always love these.
No more talk. You cross bridge, I kill her.
I don't think that this music was in the original movie. I think they've added it in here.
I know.
Huh. Kind of seemed like the camera quality switched for a second, but whatever. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is music they've added in, but I'll have to go back and check later. This is interesting. This is kind of how the entire series started. It began with the flashback of Johnny and Daniel at the karate tournament, and then it jumped ahead to showing things from Johnny's point of view. So I wonder if they're going to do the same thing here. Oh. Oh. I was kind of wondering if this might happen. Maybe he's trying to make amends. Did he go to jail for, you know, threatening to kill her?
Deep breaths.
Let me tell you about your dad. He was always a scrapper. But the moment I knew he was the real deal...
Cool story. Try telling it to someone who gives a shit.
From what I heard, you tried to break up that fight and Diaz attacked you.
This is interesting. He's noting that Diaz, a Cobra Kai, was responsible. Yet he hasn't done that before. He's only using it now so he can get Robbie on his side, so...
All that Miyagi-Do mumbo-jumbo, that might score you points in a tournament. But now you're in the real world, kid. You might want to learn to strike first.
Now see, I find it interesting that he's using this argument, because what I personally have always found to be a problem with Cobra Kai is not necessarily how they teach you to fight, but really how they teach you to live. Because think about it, in the original Karate Kid movies, Mr. Miyagi wasn't just teaching Daniel how to fight. In fact, he really didn't want to teach him how to do that first. He just wanted to teach him how to be a person and how to live. Because Miyagi-Do karate is also about finding balance within yourself and being the better man and finding a better way out of a difficult situation. Now, Cobra Kai, on the other hand, is about aggression and striking first, and that may help you win a fight and it may help you be aggressive and get things in the moment, but in the long run it really doesn't fully prepare you for life, and that's unfortunately what happened with Johnny. It just didn't prepare him for life properly. So it's interesting that Kreese is actually making the opposite argument, is that he's saying this is the real world, you have to learn to strike first and be aggressive in order to survive. And from Robbie's perspective, you could actually see that he does have a good point, because Robbie had a hard life. He fell in with a bad crowd. Now again, I do think that Kreese's philosophy is flawed, and right here he did something that he almost never does and acknowledged that a member of Cobra Kai was the problem. He never does that any other time. He's only doing it right now so that he can use it to get Robbie on his side. So that in itself shows that he's not someone who should be trusted, but given the position Robbie is in, I can see the appeal that it will have, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Again, we have to be ready to fight.
What do you think you're doing?
Uh-oh.
I don't know what's going on with you.
No,
but
you don't. And if you really think the karate is the problem, then you have not been paying attention.
She's definitely Daniel's daughter, all right. Speaking of Daniel.
Okay, I'm gonna get myself another drink. Would
I
you
will
like
get
one?
it.
No, I'll get it.
No! I will get...
Okay.
Yikes.
Why is he even here?
I called him. Chosen has changed.
People like him don't change.
Um,
Okay, trust me.
She's trying to help Daniel finally learn to let go of the past, something he always struggles with.
Thanks.
I have to go.
What?
Wow. It's a good strategy, because if Daniel can make amends with this guy, then surely he can make amends with Johnny. Oh, wow. That is just beautiful.
Oh, so you know everything, huh?
Well, I'm not.
This way.
Oh, we gonna learn some backstory that we didn't know before? I like the sound of that. Look at that lighting. That is incredible.
He wouldn't keep any secrets from me.
Well, let us find out.
Huh? I'm really enjoying this. So they both have been trying to get in contact with him.
Just having a hard time.
Of course.
Let's go.
Do you think I was gonna fall for that?
No, but I knew you'd be too busy calling my bullshit to know what I was really up to.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Lighting a fire under you.
What did you do? What did you do? Didn't seem like self-defense to me.
Defense takes on many forms.
The Miyagi ancestors fought Japanese.
Oh! I didn't expect him to actually train Daniel, but...
Miyagi instructors came up with special techniques designed to kill their enemies.
Wow. No wonder Mr. Miyagi didn't tell Daniel about this stuff. It goes against everything he believes in.
What did you do?
This reminds me of chi blocking from Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. Can't leave that out. Because this show teaches us that follow-up series can be just as good as the original.
I have waited a long time for this.
Joseph. No.
Honk! If an enemy insists on war, then you take away their ability to wage it. Eh?
Oh, that is the perfect technique to use on someone like John Kreese, who's all
Can
about
you
war.
teach me?
I love how this show is able to resolve conflicts from decades ago in the other movies. It's fantastic.
It's our chance to fight back.
I really do understand your feelings, but you're going about this all wrong. Which I guess Daniel is going to have to teach when he comes back. Robbie, don't do it. Part of me kind of wants him to, but... It's just like what Johnny did in episode 1.
Sam LaRusso!
Oh, please stop! Eli! Stop! Stop! It's me! Don't do it! No!
This isn't over, LaRusso!
We have seen a few moments where Hawk has been kind of questioning some things, so maybe this is going to be a wake-up call for him too.
자, 마타.
This is not how I expected this episode to go, but I'm really glad that it did.
We walk the streets.
Oh!
Forget about all that. Have some fun.
Oh, so he's kind of listening to Miguel's mother. He's not just trying to straight out push him anymore. He's trying to, you know, actually be a good father figure.
Ladies, let's make that kid's wish come true.
A friend of yours?
A friend of ours.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Don't worry. It's been a long time since we met. I was a child then, and
Oh.
it was during a typhoon.
Oh, the girl he saved. I'm constantly amazed at the people they bring back.
Who do you work for?
Doyona,
What? You work for Doyon?
Senior Vice President of Sales for Doyona International.
Can I buy you a drink?
I should hope so, Daniel-san. I'm about to save your business.
Oh.
Hello?
I'm sorry, John Kreese is done for now.
Hey, Rambo. Kids are getting hurt. So call off your band of karate thugs or I'm going to the police.
See, this is another really interesting moment because all this time she's thought that the karate rivalry was ridiculous because she's kind of seen it from an outsider's perspective. She's like, it's just a bunch of high schoolers in a karate dojo. Aren't you guys taking this a little too seriously? But now she can actually see John Kreese up close and how legitimately crazy he is and what he's putting in these kids' heads. So, looks like she's going to be changing her mind, so.
You're a feisty one. But I like that. I like it.
Oh.
You're a sociopath. And I'm shutting you down if it's the last thing I do.
Well, finally a parent going to the cops. Oh. Are they gonna bring her back now? Oh my god. Okay, guys, that was Cobra Kai Season 3, Episode 5. Now, I normally try to limit the amount of cursing that I do on this channel, but holy shit, that was an amazing episode. I don't even know if this should be my reaction, because for all the things that went right in this episode, there were just as many things that went wrong. But I think the reason that this episode just feels so satisfying is because all of the characters, for better or worse, kind of learn something that they need to learn. So let's start with the big one carrying over from the last episode was Daniel and Shozen reconnecting. I'm sorry if I'm getting his name wrong. That was not at all how I expected things to go. I totally thought that he was still going to be bitter and resentful from what happened in Karate Kid 2, but he's actually changed and grown into a much better person, and he wanted to make amends. I mean, obviously, he's not perfect, he still has flaws, and maybe goes a little farther than he needed to sometimes, but I was genuinely captivated by seeing him teach Daniel more about Miyagi-Do techniques, the history of Miyagi-Do, and give him a precious Miyagi-Do artifact that he's probably going to use in the next few episodes. I really am amazed how they're able to take story arcs from movies from the 1980s that were pretty simple and straightforward, bring them back and give them a nice resolution. That's just so cool. That is what this show has always excelled at, is that it's very much its own thing with its own style and its own story arc, but it also shows an insane amount of respect for what has come before, which is what any good follow-up to an established series should do. And to top it off at the end, it seems that this girl, who I can't believe they even brought her back from the original movies, is now at Doyona International, and she's going to help save Daniel's business. A lot of things went wrong in this episode, but that turned out pretty well. We also had Johnny and Miguel, which again, another case of Johnny finally learning something that he needed to learn. Because I've always said this, there is some merit to Johnny's style of being tough and aggressive, and sometimes it has really helped out Miguel in the past. But I love that he finally realized what Miguel really needs is not someone just being completely hard on him all the time. He just needs a father figure to show him love and support, and them going to that concert was just that was great. And it looks like Miguel is on his way to walking again. It's just a lot of great stuff. But obviously not everything went great in this episode. There were 3 other characters who learned a hard lesson that they needed to. But before we get to the ones that went really wrong, let's get to the one that's kind of a middle point. Because I thought what happened with Robbie in this episode was very interesting. Because he did learn something that he needed to, and things actually worked out well for him in the end. But it was also because of advice from John Kreese, and he did resort to aggression and violence. But still, they don't paint it as a really tragic situation like they do with some of the other examples. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. Realistically, in the situation that he is in, that is kind of something that he needed to hear, and it did pay off a little bit. There was a bit of mutual respect between him and that other prisoner. Again, it's probably going to hurt him in the long run, but I like that it wasn't just totally black and white. It's not totally good, not totally bad. It's somewhere in the middle. So I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with Robbie now. So we have 2 examples of things ending really well. We've got one that's somewhere in the middle. Now let's talk about the 2 that are kind of on the bad side of things. I really do do understand the position that Sam is in. I understand her frustration and having to deal with Cobra Kai. I get it. But I feel that the way that she's been going about trying to solve their rivalry and bringing the other Miyagi-Do students into it is not the way to go. I mean, sometimes she's just in a no-win situation and you understand her actions. But again, stooping to Cobra Kai's level and just charging into a fight without really thinking it through just isn't going to work out, and unfortunately she had to learn that the hard way. But at the very least, it seems that two people's minds may have been changed, or at least they're on the road to being changed. Because Hawk, for the most part, has been pretty unbearable this season. He's definitely one of the bigger bullies on Cobra Kai. But there also have been a few moments where he's kind of questioning what's going on, like when Kreese kicks a whole bunch of people off the team. So I thought it was a cool detail when he's about to break Dimitri's arm, and you think he would be totally okay with it at this point after everything that's gone down between them. But he actually does hesitate a little bit because he's never seriously injured Dimitri before. So that little moment of hesitation and him seeing that maybe he kind of regrets what he did, maybe that is going to start him down the path of leaving Cobra Kai like Johnny did. But he's not the only one who may have changed his mind a little bit, because Amanda's role in the series up until this point, she's always kind of been the outside observer, calling characters out when they're making mistakes and trying to peacefully resolve things. And you definitely understand her point of view, because from an outside perspective, seeing a whole bunch of teenagers fighting over their respective karate dojos does seem pretty ridiculous. But in this episode, not only does she see her daughter at the hospital again, but she genuinely sees the pain she's in. She's just been criticizing Sam up until this point, but now she genuinely understands why Sam has been making all these reckless decisions and that she's genuinely afraid of Cobra Kai. Not only that, but she actually goes to visit John Kreese, sees him up close, and kind of understands what he's putting in these kids' heads. And I know it's going to end so badly because it's just going to make Kreese really mad, but I thought it was really funny when she punched him in the face. I like that. And something else she's finally doing that I'm wondering when the other parents were going to do it is actually going to the police and trying to shut this guy down. But again, it makes me really nervous what Kreese is thinking now, how he's going to respond to this, what his next step is going to be. So yeah, guys, this was a fantastic episode. I love how they balanced all the different characters. I like how some things ended really well, some things ended really badly, and how Robbie's example was kind of somewhere in the middle. Despite some of the things that went wrong, I just love how all of the characters learned something that they really needed to, and it was just so wholesome overall, and I cannot wait for the next episode. And with that, I'll turn it over to you guys. What did you think of this episode? Whatever it is, feel free to share your thoughts down in the comments and let me know what you think. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more content. Also be sure to check out my other videos over there. It really does mean a lot. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you for the next Cobra Friday.